Eat anything, yeah. Oh, they're doing it with their... I saw that. Did they ask you?
How saved your life,
Don't even really remember.
Man.
It's hot in here, I know too.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pep rally before the C2 Championship Football Game. And now let's meet the Raiders. First, the freshman, Bill the Thrill Ford. Second hard, Nick Stack. Terrific Taylor Milhouse. Marshall Porter and Marshall Porter. And number 73, load up and follow me, Snifter.
She was gonna be on the camera.
Sophomore, Bo Jara Morgan. Fred Roman. Mike Rose Peterson. Angela Andy Hayes. Number 20, Cowboy Cody Boland. Number 24, Little Kate Train Kaplan. Jason 38 Special Holdings. Number 46, Justin Off Castle. Johnny B. Good Reed. Pizza Man Jack Menke. And now the juniors. Number 64, Hardy and Hale Dale Merton. Number 66, Bombastic Troy Brown. Number 54, J-Max Jensen. Number 48, Sam the Man Brockman. Number 16, Bruce Mitchell Colmire. Code 76 Rules Malone. Number 60, Peter Reedford to assistant coach Kevin. We will win Wheeling. Assistant coach Tom East Grayson B. Marie. And the best, the coach, the board.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2001 LN Raiders. There we go. Thank you. Have a special hand for our two archangels who are just walking off right now. The rest of you guys just wait right there. Don't move. Hold it. Hold up. Whoa. Whoa. I just want you to stand where you are. That's not going to make you work real hard. Just want to give everybody a little recognition tonight. We spent a lot of time with this pep rally and on the seniors and all the starters get some recognition. There's some guys out here that don't get a lot of recognition, and you deserve it. You work hard in practice, you come to the games, you cheer them on. You're the reason we made it as far as we have. Thanks. Life's a dance. You learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. We're going to talk a little bit about leaders and followers. We've got probably one of the best group of leaders right here in the gymnasium tonight. And when they're not busy leading, they're busy following. It's kind of hard to know when you're supposed to lead and when to follow, but these guys somehow have figured it out. Several years ago, the communities of Lawrence and Nelson got together and decided that we couldn't survive on our own. And nobody wanted to make the decision to go ahead and put these schools together. We had apprehension about doing it. Well, while we were thinking, these young men and their coaches and the seniors from the last 2 years came out here and pretty much unceremoniously joined these two schools, joined the football teams, and joined two communities. Thank you. Words of wisdom, the pearls of poetry, the tunes of angels upon your ears here tonight. Senior speeches.
First thing, this beats the heck out of No 7, Susan. Past 2 years at Lincoln, we've come up a little bit short.
For these guys.
It's been kind of disappointing, but all I gotta say is, third time's the charm. I know all of you out there are Husker fans as well as Raider fans, and we haven't been accustomed to seeing a red and white team lose at Memorial Stadium, but I think tomorrow night there's going to be one. At Lawrence Nelson, we're taught about respect, and we all respect one another on the team. We respect our coaches fairly well, and well, I don't think that we have the respect across the state as other teams would. And well, respect, the definition of respect, it's kind of an acronym here at Lawrence Nelson. It goes something like Raiders enter stadium, proud, excited, and committed to taking it to the house. Well, my dad
reminded me of back in the old grade school days, playing football out on the old soccer fields and in the back of the old end zones. And every time I watch a big broken pass play or a big run play down the field, I just look back and remember all the good times we've had together. And guarantee it's not going to stop tomorrow night.
Well, if you've been here the last few times in that background, you'll know by now I either do a poem or a song for this instead of a speech. Well, I actually considered doing a normal speech for once, but I decided not. I want to do another song. It's pretty much the same thing I did last week because I can't think of anything else to do. So here it is. Well, the train keeps on rolling, dribbling every team in sight. And back tomorrow they become C2 state champions. Artisans going down, baby. 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 Oh, it's true. Well, I think that Adam and Aaron would agree with me that a lot has changed in 4 years. And it seems like this year that everybody in the state's been doubting us. They say we're just an overrated 8-man team. And that's fine by me, because they can think whatever we want, but we're still going to be walking out of Memorial Stadium with the gold medal. Well, like Kurt brought up a little bit is, I've been playing football with the Nelson kids ever since I was in kindergarten. And I can speak on behalf of the Nelson kids that we were very fortunate and lucky to play with the Lawrence kids the past 3 years. And I can't think of a better way of stop playing football with these guys than playing in Memorial Stadium. But I guarantee that we're going to win this one this year. This season is almost over, and it was the first time, probably the last time when I played football. I just want to say thank you guys. It was fun to play with you. It was great to made that much far in the playoffs, playing in the Memorial Stadium. Tomorrow, I know you can do it. Lawrence, Nelson, you are the best. Well, I guess the end things here. I guess I just want to send a special thanks out to you all. Across the state just to watch us play football. And you guys are just great. So I hope you all be there tomorrow. And that's the game we've been dreaming about ever since we were little kids. So I just don't disappoint you. This season, there's been a certain special guy who's been behind the scenes, helped us out a lot, been encouraging. He's a new guy in town. We wanted to give him a little special something, so Mr. Coombs, if you could come forward right now, we'd really appreciate it. Mr. Coombs got the wild idea that made a bet with us that if we made it to the playoffs that he would get our names put on the back of our jerseys because he wanted us to look like classy gentlemen when we were playing. Well, we're there, Mr. Coombs. We decided we wanted you to look a little bit classy too, so we found this jersey. Got this jersey for you. It says Greater. Got your name on the back too. Thank you.
Well, thank you, football players. The first time when Dan was holding on to this, I was afraid he was getting electrocuted. I hope that doesn't happen again, because I'm not sure I can control my bodily functions here. I told the kids the first day of school that this coming to a place like this with a lot of success was kind of new for me, because I was a principal for 3 years in Stanton, and those 3 years the team won 6 football games. And they did win 3 this year, but it's really been a joy and a pleasure to watch these kids, and I appreciate hearing them talk about respect. That, of course, is one of the things we try to do around the halls and the classrooms too. But I guess the only words of wisdom I would have would be, of course, the seniors know this is their last chance. There is not a next year. And if you think about it, the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, there are no guarantees. Cambridge was 8-1 this year, and Scribner Snyder was 8-1 this year, and neither team made the playoffs. Too bad for them, but they did not make the playoffs. I suppose the executive director of the School Activities Association will have something to say about that in the future, since he's from Cambridge. But seriously, there are no guarantees that we'll be doing this again. 3 years in a row is pretty remarkable. And I think it's already been said, we've got the best kids in the state, not just football players, but we've got the best kids in Lawrence and Nelson. And I don't care who hears that, to the south or the north. As deserving as these kids are, there's one other person that's most deserving. Coach DeBoer started coaching down here about 20 years before I was born. I heard stories of him stories about him for many, many years, and not only do we have the greatest kids, but our coaching staff headed by Coach DeBoer, if he's not the finest coach in the state, then I don't know where I'm getting my information. You guys deserve this, the communities deserve it, Coach DeBoer deserves it, and I have no doubt you'll get the job done tomorrow.
Been doing wrong that has kept us from winning the past 2 years. And then we look back, there's something that has been missing at the past couple of games in Lincoln. So Mr. Bohr, if you can come forward, we have something that might enhance your play calling and might help lead us to a win tomorrow night. Lincoln Memorial Stadium has no grass, so Mr. DeBoer, we got you a bag of grass.
If you don't know the story behind that, you watch me in practice and watch me at games, it's not that I'm kneeling down to pray. It's usually I'm trying to fix the grass, and I kind of stick it in my mouth and chew on it a little bit. And I haven't been able to do that the last 2 years. So I'll feel at home tomorrow. there's a lot of people I can thank, should thank, but there's one group in particular that I want to thank tonight, and that's the parents, particularly the mothers, for making it so special these last few years. They fix us a meal every week. They fixed us breakfast last week, fixed us snacks to eat on the way. I just think that's a big part, of our success. And I really think you need to give our parents, particularly the mothers, every week I stand out here and I say, this team we're playing, they're tough. And then our guys just go out and go goodbye, Well, these guys are tough tomorrow. But these guys have made believers out of me. I thought going in, maybe we might struggle some, but every week, these guys just go out, kick butt. And tomorrow's not going to be any different. We're going to go out. I believe in these guys now. They are going to kick butt tomorrow.
Adam referred to the 0-7 season as a freshman. Wasn't a lot of fun. All the kids got to play, though. I think we started out with 13 kids in Lawrence. But it just goes to show what kids can do if given the opportunity. And thanks for giving them the opportunity. It proves that they not only deserve to play together, but they deserve to play together in Lincoln, Nebraska in the middle of November. Thank you. One other person that we haven't thanked yet this year, and we need to, because she does an awful lot of work. She videotapes every game and gets the strategy ready for the Monday morning bowl session so they know what worked and what didn't. Kind of goes out of her way to make sure everything's ready. And then when we've got a kid that has a jersey get torn in half, she somehow mends it back together. And have we got it mended back together, or is it retired now? It's good to go. Good thing we got the black ones for this week. Kathy DeBoer. At this time, we've got several mystery gifts that have showed up, and these mystery gifts may or may not mean something to the players on the Lawrence Nelson Raider team. We're going to have them come up and say a few words, give you a clue, and see if you guys can guess who it is.
Us moms are persistent, and we've been hunting high and low. And we did find a few important people from both present and past. And I'm going to hand the mic to one of them right now. I hope you can see her shadow. What would you like to say? Oh, those Raiders, they make me shiver and shake all over. Any ideas who this is?
You know, folks, I'm glad to come down here to your little school. It's been a long time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and anybody else out there, you thought you were through with school for the week, didn't you? Well, folks, there's time for one more little test. The test consists of one question, and you have to listen closely. Where did the following quote come from? The quote is, "It's really hard to take a loss when you lose to someone who shouldn't even be here in the first place, considering they won on a really controversial call in their first game." Now, you have several options here. This quote came from A, Frank Solich after last year's loss to Kansas State. B, Coach DeBoer last summer after a golf match with Aaron Hurst. C, it was Dan Laughlin when he was trying to explain why his homework wasn't in on time, but he got sidetracked with who knows what. And the fourth option is, it came from Grant High School coach Marlon Twilliger on the radio after last Saturday's game with the Raiders. Do we have a choice? D. All right, if you said D, that's correct. That's not a lie.
And the mystery guest is? Alan Austin. Our roving reporter.
You don't want to listen to me. You know, Raiders fans, there's absolutely nothing you can do about tomorrow's ball game except for two things. First off, you can worry about the proper attitude, and secondly, you can worry about effort. The proper attitude will get you through the game. It's not an attitude like the Grant coach had. And secondly, effort. It's 100% effort by everybody on the team and everybody in the stands. Because if you do these two things, everything else will take care of itself. Those are the two items you can control. Now, somewhere I read one of those great literary authors, it might have been Shakespeare, it might have been Darrell Lipker for all I know. Anyhow, it goes something like this. Go get 'em, Raiders!
We have a third mystery guest. This one is another face from the past. She has a message for you. You gotta get out there and hit 'em! And hit 'em hard! This ain't a Sunday school picnic! Come on, Raiders! We ain't staying! Go Raiders! Raiders! And the mystery guest is? Mark Schroeder! You got
You're louder now. I was yesterday.
We had invited a fourth guest, but he or they were unable to attend, but they did send a special message, and we have four of our moms from the team of 99 to deliver that special message from those seniors on that team.
I guess I get to start here. Do any of you juniors or seniors remember any of the students or the seniors of 99 saying, "Let's get the job done"? We're going to take care of business Friday, and HCC is the business we're going to take care of. Or the L train is coming to Lincoln Friday, and HCC better not be on the track. And the last one, We've come this far, and we're not going to be stopped now.
If the juniors and seniors can recall any of these things, then you know who they are, and that's right, the first senior class of LN Raiders. They wanted to let you know that although they could not make it to the pep rally, they will be in Lincoln, watching the game, standing along beside you in the spirit on the football field. One more thing to remember. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Just get it done and bring home the C2 football championship trophy. All right!
And I just talked to one of those seniors this weekend, and he said what pride it gave them as a school and as a team to get there. You guys should be very proud.
But here it is.
Take it away, band, another important part of our Morris Nelson keyboard. Thanks a lot. Renee has requested that those boys that are a part of the special feature being done by the student body need to go do what you need to do before that part of the program. Enter, gentlemen.
All the way through.
There's one trailing.
Now we're ready to turn it over to Renee and her cohorts. I'm not sure who all is involved. Go ahead.
We have the judges and coaches please come down here.
Judges.
So that would be you, the coaches sitting right there. Well, we all know that our Raiders have a big game tomorrow. There are many things involved in making the team great. We all know that our Raiders have the talent, heart, and determination to win tomorrow. But we'd like to focus on one point, leg power. It's obvious that it takes leg power in a game to win. So we have picked a few of the Raiders out to show all of you just what kind of leg power this team has. We have picked a few categories in which our judges will classify the Raiders under.
Oh, this is too good.
Oh, shoot. Show this side. They're showing it.
Yeah. That's what we was trying to figure out. If we Adam, we should be able to kick him out, you'd think. Some of them have skinny legs, don't they? Corbin's the fourth one, I think, yeah. That's Corbin.
I bet if Aaron Hurd puts the legs half
What is the number two?
Yeah.
I wonder who two
I
and
think
three are.
Bill's to the left of Corbin then.
Do you recognize him?
Well,
To the left, a little skinny one.
yeah.
Hey, you know, I wonder what they were doing with that pose back. No, it's kind of scary though.
Yeah, it is.
Fix that hole in there. Yeah. That's just doesn't it?
Yeah, the what? Oh, the school crap?
The Raider receiving the best looking lady is Raider number 9. So if you can please come out. Okay, the next one was the ugliest. The Raider receiving the ugliest award is Raider number 14. Raider number 10. Raider with the chicken leg. Raider number 5. They're all such great sports and dressed up for us. We'd like everyone else to report themselves.
I knew Andrew, but I didn't know who was between him and Bill.
Thanks, girls. Big hand for the leg. Word of advice to those who want the big bottles, don't drink it all tonight. If I can get serious now. One group we forgot to thank, and it came about kind of as a surprise, noticed it quite a bit at the Grant game. We talked about leaders earlier, and we don't have an organized pep club, but it was very nice to see cheerleaders leading a group of girls off to one side, and cheerleaders of another generation leading a group of girls off to another side. I thought it was very nice, and we really appreciated it. I think boys appreciated it too. Thanks, girls. And now it's time for the moment you've been waiting for, the real serious stuff. Mr. Tom Jensen and his crew have prepared something fantastic for us.
All right, let's see. Everybody hear that all right? Must be. I can hear a little ringing there. This has been a crazy fall for me. For the first time in I don't know how many years, I didn't coach junior high football. And that was probably good because, as it turned out, I would have missed probably 10 practices and 2 games. And I did actually miss 2 of the Raiders games, but that didn't keep me from keeping posted on cell phones. So I've been kind of rushed this fall, and I know everybody's been asking me to do something for the pep rallies, and I haven't been able to do anything up until tonight. And to be honest with you, I really had a tough time getting something prepared this evening. Simply because it covers something that I'm not really familiar with. I was requested to write a rap song. Now, I am a child of the 60s. I not only remember when the Beatles broke up, I remember when they had their first practice. I remember when the Rolling Stones were still playing for their junior high sock hops. The 60s. I even remember back then when Coach DeBoer and Coach Murray first cashed their first Social Security checks. So this rap stuff, I'm not familiar with. But I made an effort, and I just got off the phone this evening with a cousin of mine on the East Coast who happens to be dating a guy in a rap group. And he gave me a checklist of some things to do. He said, you just can't go do this. You have to look the part. So he said, get a cool shirt. So I just ran into the closet and I just grabbed a handful out of the closet and maybe that's not cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, this is really cool right here. Bear with me. Man in black. Thank you for that. All right, now, I'm not really sure I like this part. Oh, those are for Pierce Steers and mine aren't. All right. Oh, cool glasses. These are pretty cool. Lost an earring. Is that right? Is it in the right ear? I'm afraid of. Okay.
You're happy.
Okay, now I need a groove. I brought a little rhythm machine. Oh, I feel groovy. I mean, totally cool. And now it says I need backups. But where am I going to find backups on such short notice? Oh, this is too cool. Are you ready, boys?
Osama!
Go, Raiders in the house! In the house! Let's do it. I'm going to try to tell this story, and no lies I will be giving. But if you've ever seen me try to dance, you know I have no rhythm. So bear with me and let me speak, and you don't have to clap. The style I'm going to use tonight I call Old Man's Rap. He's so old, he wears the pants. He's so old, he wears the pants. Yes, I'm a fan of this football team, that's why I'm always grinning. Opponents seem to try so hard, but our boys keep on winning. Yeah! I'm going to tell you about each one of them. We call them the Men in Black. The title of this is simple. It's called Raider Attack. Men in Black! Raider Attack. Men in Black! Raider Attack. Their coach, the best ever. His name is DeBoer. He started coaching football when Moses turned age 4. Oh, he was asked last winter if this team could compete. I guess we know the answer. These boys ain't been beat. Everybody says our quarterback is the best there ever was. Well, you see, I beg to differ. I don't think he's number one. Now, don't try to tell me Corbin is the best in this state. I know I've seen a better quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. Now, don't misconstrue my argument. I know Corbin is no slouch, but he's going to have to play one more game before he's better than Eric Crouch. Yeah! Now, our tailback is a Peterson. Everyone knows him as Kurt. Our opponents say he's that skinny guy who seems to have gone berserk. Now, those who try to tackle him are treated to a little snooze, and it takes a couple of seconds before they finally come to. Now, they open their eyes mesmerized by the sound of little birdies, and they think that they are so lucky to hear songs so doggone pretty. But then they face reality and begin to feel the pain. And Kirk says, did you enjoy the ride aboard the K train? We love Anthony Gerard, that well-known football poet, because like him, we were sinners. I wonder if he knows it. He snaps the ball to Corbin, who puts it down for Doug, who I hope kicks it a dozen times from the field turf rug. Gerard doesn't get the headlines, no pictures you will see of him in some sports magazine. You know, he is like me. He's the best I've seen at placement snaps. That's not why he's earned a letter. It's because every day in practice, he's made this team better. Yeah.
Raider attack. Men in black. A Raider attack.
There's a lot of young players on this team who know how to tackle, and no one does it better than sophomore Dustin Castle. But Dustin, I must ask you about some of your techniques. You've gotten good with your hands, so good I can't believe. Now I heard that you've been getting a little extra coaching. I've never heard of this football school, so this question I'm posing. What's the name of this clinic? And answer this real quickly. That's held after midnight on some back road up by Shipley.
Raider attack. Men in black. A Raider attack.
Sophomore Jason Holding, he has become a solid player. He'd start for anyone else if he weren't with the Raiders. He's number 2 on the depth chart behind Doug at fullback. But Jason is fine with that because he's a part of the Raider attack. He says, yeah, I might be number 2, but I'm proud of what I've done. And after the game tomorrow, I'll be a number 2 on a number 1.
Men in black. A Raider attack. Men in black. A Raider attack.
Now, who can forget the Amherst game and that winning toss when the referee threw up his arms over an outstretched Josh? Now, Altman's is too small to play, let alone even start. But you know what his secret is? No scale can weigh his heart. Yeah.
Men in black. Men in black. A Raider attack.
Guten Tag, Kaiser. I'm speaking to Tim. I didn't know speaking German would take that much phlegm. Now, Tim says he likes football. Yeah, he likes it just fine. But his favorite thing in the USA is our beautiful Fräuleins. Now, there's a freshman Raider you'll get to know. This kid is quite a goer. He's fast and strong and an athlete, and his name is Philip Schroer. Now, I hope he keeps his number. You know it's number 1, because that's where you find him listed in the record book when he's done. Go Philip.
Men in black. Raider attack. Men in black. A Raider attack.
I hated coaching Kathman, Andrew, you know, AK. He was a part of that first LM group when he was in the 8th grade. On our junior high team, I admit AK was very good, but I knew he could be better. I wonder if he understood. I tried to motivate him, but gave up after a while. No matter how long I yelled at him, all he'd do is smile.
Men in black. A Raider attack. Men in black. A Raider attack.
Bryce Brown is a chatterbox. You just can't shut him up. The things he says, I can't believe. That guy is just a nut. I'm sorry, what'd you say? You've never heard him speak? Well, I'm telling you, he's done it all year. I mean, talk to Blue Streak. Now, tomorrow you must listen. Yeah, listen with your eyes. Then you will figure it out. Yeah, you will figure it out. That's right. Bryce doesn't use his vocal cords. No, he doesn't. Not once. Because he speaks from his smash mouth. Yeah.
Men in black. Raider attack. Men in black. Raider attack.
Our kickoff group is a special team and includes Dustin Pettit. He flies down the football field and yells, "You're going to get it." I see players smear on every return and they become debris. Dustin says he's learned the secret. Be the smear-or, not the smearee.
Men in black. Raider attack. Men in black. A Raider attack.
You can't see Andrew Pohlmeyer ever make a tackle. You don't understand what I mean? Well, here, I'll give you an example. If out on the field you feel the wind, see a blur and hear a whistle, and you swear to God that must have been a heat-seeking missile, well, that's our Andrew Hunting Heads making someone feel miserable. He's so quick and fast, I think it makes him seem invisible.
Men in black. Raider attack. He's a stealth. Raider attack.
Everybody's been wondering what to do with Bin Laden. I think that we will all agree that towelhead is plain rotten. So if we catch him, I propose to bring him to the Raiders. A punishment I have conceived I think could be no greater. We'll put him at left linebacker and take out our frustration by calling 101 straight times a 42 isolation. Now, Doug Worman's a lead blocker for Bin Laden, that's a nightmare. One block by Doug and Osama would wear his turban as a diaper.
Raider attack. Raider attack.
He's the biggest freshman on our team. Do you know of whom I'm speaking? My dream is someday that I will witness havoc he is wreaking. Of course you know who I'm talking about, that massive and huge Nick Stats. And I hope to see him in a game make players go per splats.
Men in black. Raider attack. Men in black. Raider attack.
Dale Mertens had a father who is no longer with us. And for Dale and his family, Jim is someone they are missing. But I bet Jim spends game day with Devaney and Lombardi. And I'm sure Jim shows them how to have a heavenly tailgate party. And Dale, as much as anyone, wishes Jim were here today. Don't worry, Dale, I know in my own heart your dad hasn't missed a play. No way.
Raider attack. Men in black. Raider attack.
Now, the worst official's call I've seen got a player quite a scolding. It happened against Amherst when Dan Laughlin was called for holding. I saw the flag and I really thought that official must be joking. After watching film and seeing no hold, I wonder what he was smoking. So Dan let all the world know now, and I hope it's understood, but no flag and Corbin would have scored, so the game's end wouldn't have been as good. So Dan, thank you all for what you've done. Everybody I'm going to start over, I did that wrong. So thank you, Dan, for all you've done. Everyone takes back their curses. You've been my inspiration, that's why I gave you 4 verses.
Men in black.
This summer I went to the mountaintop and I asked for a miracle. I had to have a talk with God. I never felt quite this spiritual. I said, Lord, I have a nephew who can't seem to stay low. I ask you to look down upon this child who needs you so. This season my prayers were answered for my nephew Vince. Now I'm praying for those across from him because he's wearing low helmet win.
Raider attack. Men in black. Raider attack.
Rebecca Hintz is not a member of this football team, but did you know that she achieved her cross-country dream? Now, it's not too late to recognize her. There's no deadline, no cutoff. So thanks, Becca, for going to state for your school. You ran your butt off.
Lady in black. Raider attack. Lady in black. Attack.
Who's that freshman in that line? I think it is Logan. Work real hard and you will play, I think would be his slogan. I taught him how to block when he played back in junior high. Thank God Coach Murray took this job to teach Logan how to do it right.
Men in black. Raider attack. Men in black. Raider attack.
Is Petersburg number 9 or 60? You know, it's so confusing. When I announce the lineups, I circle the one he's using. Now in junior high, he was our quarterback. As a freshman, he moved to end. Now he's playing tackle. Duh, these moves are why we win!
Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
Our center and defensive tackle is a giant whose name is Adam. When he's knocked down his opponent, he helps him up and calls him Madam. And they cry and they cry and they cry again because they're full of fear. And they try and they try and they try and try, but they just can't shed this tear.
Men in Black. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
Now there's an Andy who's a sophomore who never passed and who's never whining. Yeah, give him one more year on this team, he'll knock you on your hiney.
Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
Derek Dropen comes from my hometown metropolis called Oak. My neighbor for over 13 years, believe it, it's no joke. I think he thought I was a Looney Tune, maybe a wee bit wacky. He felt so sorry for his other neighbor, my wife Jackie.
Men in Black. Attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
There's another Biltov on this team, and his name is Taylor. Believe me when I say this, next year he'll be a player. I can see it among the crowd in just a season or two. After watching Taylor dominate, they'll ask, Corbin who?
Men in Black. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
I love the movie from years ago. It was called A Fish Called Wanda. The reason that I mention this, it rhymes with Cody Yonda. When I coached Judy in, not Judy, excuse me. When I coached Cody in junior high, I thought we had a special Bonda. He could have used the way home after practice. I should have bought him a Honda.
Men in Black. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
Raiders fans love number 20. Their pride for him is swollen. You know who I am talking about, our own Cody Bolin. Now forget that pound-for-pound stuff. Being the smallest is nothing new. And Cody is the last one who wants that for an excuse. If you think that is slack of stature is something that should shackle him, I challenge any of you up there to go out and try to tackle him. Yeah.
Men in Black. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
John Reed says Cody Bolin has always been his favorite teammate. John said the reason's simple. Cody makes him feel so great. It isn't Cody's toughness. It isn't that at all. Cody's the only one on this team who thinks John is tall.
Men in Black. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
Keith Mankey looks so studious when he puts on his glasses, and it makes him look appealing to opposing school's young lasses. They ask if they can go out with him, and he says, yeah, that's just fine. But first you got to take a number because you're gonna stand in line. Got another. The Porter twins are on this squad. The team calls them Michael and Markle. These boys think to the opposite sex the Porter boys do sparkle. But they can't seem to buy a date. At least they're not so dumb. They camp out over a Mankey's house and pick up all of Keith's crumbs.
Men in Black. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
Sam Brockman will sign a contract to play in the NFL. We'll all say that we knew him, and it'll be a story we'll love to tell. And he'll someday have a Super Bowl ring. Yeah, that's going to be real special. But first things first, tomorrow he's going to get a championship medal.
Men in Black. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
At tackle, we have a young man as tall tall as a Douglas fir. Well, you know who I'm talking about, that lovable Aaron Hers. Yeah. Now, there's two important reasons why Aaron has caught my attention. He's the most improved player by far, and he calls me Mr. Jensen.
Man Black! Raider attack. Man Black! Raider attack.
Bill Pohlmeyer is the best quarterback not to play that position. And for the coaches asking him to move, that had to be a tough decision. But Bill told the coaches, it's not that tough, just put me out on the wing. Because I'm not playing just for me, I'm playing for this team. Jared Werman is known to all of his teammates as the J-Rod. I hear from the ladies that Jeremy has a buffed bod. He can catch the ball and tackle them all and run just like a deer. He plays with reckless abandon. This young man has no fear. And he's so smart out on the field he's so smart out on the field, opposing coaches do go batty. Thank God that the J-Rod is not one thing like his daddy.
Raider. Thank the Lord!
Sorry, Phil. He knew it was coming. Now there's another little choo-choo who is waiting in the wings. It's Kirk's younger brother, Brett. And he knows how to sting. Now I have a big pair of shoes to fill after Kirk gets his final letter. Brett says I'll never be as good as Kirk. I'll be better.
Raider attack. Men in Black! Raider attack.
I've heard of a player on this team whose name is Cole Malone. He brings fear to our opponents. They wish they had just stayed home. You'll hear them scream, stay away from me, please, Cole, don't attack us. Now think how good old Cole would be if he'd ever show up for practice.
Raider attack. Men in Black! Raider attack.
This team would have been nothing, and believe me, the Raiders know. They never would have come quite this far without Evans, H2O. Evan Herbeck has been managing Raider equipment every day. And not many student managers have worked 3 championship games. But Evan, there's something I'd like to know. I don't think this is part of your job. Why at every halftime were you giving cheerleaders a massage?
Magic hands! Raider attack. Men in Black! Raider attack.
Hey, Coach Murray unretired himself. You old codger. But when it's time to face a challenge, he's not one to be a dodger. Yeah, you see this here? He chewed on it back when I was in his line. Until I was a senior, he yelled at me all the time. But what I finally understood when I put his verbiage to rest, he was simply disappointed if I didn't do my best. You know, I've loved this entire season, but what I have loved the most is hearing all those linemen once again call Tom Coach. Yeah.
Welcome back! Raider attack. Men in Black! Raider attack.
Hey, and Kevin Whelan and John Ensign are part of this staff too. They play for state championships just like all of you. Now, I know they've told you stories with memories as clear as mud, but I reluctantly must agree, yeah, they were football studs.
Ain't no duds. Raider attack. Men in Black. Raider attack.
So that's a group, and that's the poop about this football season. And why do you young men work so hard? Well, tomorrow is the reason. Now, we'll all be there like we have all year, including me and my bros. We're just 3 router. We'll all be there like we have last year, including me and my bros. We're just 3 rowdy Raiders with funky megaphones.
Woo! Hey, you ref.
I said, woo!
Raider attack.
Now, when you get off the bus in the morning and you knock on that stadium door, that gatekeeper's going to ask what you are all there for. Now be polite and don't be mad. Say, we are the men in black. You know, it's just robbing me of all my moisture. I'm going to start over. When you got off in the bus in the morning and knocked on the stadium door, that gatekeeper's going to ask, what are you all there for? Now be polite and don't be mad. Say, we are the men in black. I know you weren't expecting us, but guess what? We're back. Raider attack, everybody! Raider attack! Raider attack! Raider attack! Raider attack! Raider attack! Men in black! Raider attack! Men in black! Raider attack! Men in black! Raider attack! One more Raider attack and Men in Black, and congratulations, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
A couple final announcements regarding parking and seating information. The campus lots will be basically closed, but there is a parking garage, I understand, on the west side of the stadium. We will be sitting on the east side of the stadium. It says enter through gate 20 on the east side.
Dad's house, so you better get him as fast as you can.
Should be early enough in the day that we can get there and get someplace to park. Send off from downtown Nelson at 7 o'clock. Boys will leave. They'll eat breakfast and head out of here about 7, so if we could have people there to cheer them on as they leave. Post-game gathering, there's space available in Field Terrace in Lincoln, and that's at 322 South 9th Street. They've got a large room that would accommodate about 200 people if we need it, and they welcomed us to come out, and they've got food and beverage. And the team will be stopping out there for a while after the game, I understand. So it's a place to kind of gather and relive the game.
Yeah.
Tickets are available, I understand, for the game. If you want to purchase them tonight, someone will be here to sell those or get your tickets tonight. And one other thing, it's time after this football game for the third annual Let's Celebrate the Raiders' Success potluck supper Monday night, November 19th at the Nelson City Auditorium at 7 o'clock. Each family is requested 2 covered dishes. Table service and beverage will be provided. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for helping put these things on. Man, mothers, students, coaches, teachers. Good luck tomorrow.